blessings in abundance. Let's really talk about it. The legal aid gets paid more money. The guy that the court appoints to you because you don't have enough money gets paid more money if you plead guilty. What do you get if you're proven innocent? Nothing. But if you're a legal aid, you get more money if you can convince your client to say that they're guilty. Hence the reason 9 out of 10 people accused of a crime in America profess to be guilty. Do you think that every 9 out of 10 people walking down the block, if they were accused of something, would confess to being guilty? If you ran down on people down the block, every 9 out of 10 and said, hey, I think you're guilty of this. If you just randomly accuse people, 9 out of 10 people that you see, if you were to accuse them of doing something wrong, do you think 9 out of 10 of them would say, yeah, I did it? This is leading to a point here. I want you guys to pay attention. C-sections, cesareans, right? Doctors get over $25,000 more money for cutting the woman's stomach open. What do they get for natural births? What do they get from natural births? That's what we need to know. What do they get? That's what we need to know. Does anyone know? I'll tell you what. If natural births give you no money, but you get over $25,000 every time you do an unnatural birth, what if you're behind in your mortgage? Then 10 unnatural births would equal $250,000 or more, whereby the natural births are not incentivized the same way, and you be out of $250,000 technically, because now you might want to start hustling and run the numbers up. So just like the legal aid may get $500,000, $1,000 or more dollars plus if they can get their client to go into an early plea bargain, or early guilty plea, I should say. And so if I'm an attorney and I'm running behind in my car note, and I got 20 brothers here at my disposal, and I got to convince him what's the best route to go, I'm likely to be tempted to tell these guys, hey, you should just plead guilty. It'd be a lot easier for you. And then what the system does, they give you these counts. Because the way the psychology works is they know all the counts won't stick, but they know the average person, if you're accused of 20 things, most people will believe you did at least 5. Okay? So the more you can accuse somebody of, the least likely people will believe that all of them are false. But the reason why I'm saying these things is because look at what's being incentivized. The system is constantly being manipulated in ways to work to our disadvantage. Hope you guys are walking with me. The system is designed to take advantage of us. Look at the credit card redlining, where they cannot deny you of credit opportunities, loan opportunities because of your race, but they can deny you of credit and loan opportunities based on your zip code. And it just so happens that many races exist in clusters per zip codes. There's black zip codes, there's European zip codes, Hispanic zip codes, so forth and so on. So just think about it, and I want you to really think about it. They can't deny you of having a large sum of money available to you because of your race. But they can't deny you of that same large sum of money because of your zip code. So they have a map where they redline areas that as close as you are to that red line or on the red line, they have the right to deny you and consider you a risk. So what I'm saying is, you look at the legal system or the justice system or the penal system, and you see that they give attorneys way more money if they get you to plead guilty, but nothing if you're proven innocent. They give the doctor over $25,000, and in other instances, even over $50,000 more to give an unnatural birth by cutting the woman's belly open, a C-section. But they won't get nothing extra for seeing to it that the woman has a natural birth. So now you got to consider how many unnecessary C-sections are being given to women. And then the impact that it has on a biological level to the child, because there's a plasma field of, they're saturated with bacteria within the confines of the womb, that when the child goes through it, it prepares the child for the germs, microbes, viruses, and bacteria of this world, as it relates to the data that was accumulated by the mother since the time she was born. And so when a child comes out through the belly, the child no longer has that same protection that they get when they go through that plasma field and then are subjected to the germs, microbes, bacteria, and viruses in its weakest form to the child, so that child can collect that data in the form of DNA. Okay? And so those children are more likely to have eczema and all sorts of skin disorders for one, respiratory issues for two, psychological issues for three, because they didn't go through the womb of the mother. They came out the belly of the mother, and it was unnecessary. But who cares? The point that I'm making to you guys is that life is getting harder and harder, and the design is already for you to fail. These are just a few examples. The design is already for you to fail. I need you guys to be in your prime. We talked about black power. We talked about being in the black, not in the deficit. We talked about people trying to get out the red and get into the black. Be in a black state of mind in terms of economics. Well, we also need to talk about being in our prime. And by prime is, many of you are subprime lenders, which means that your credit score is anywhere between 580 to 619, which means if you bought a house for the first time, you'll be paying anywhere between 300 to 500 plus more dollars than any other person, because you're a subprime lender. But that's not enough, because then after subprime, 580 to 619, you then have 620 to 659, which makes you near prime, which means they still hit you with a lot of the same type of fees, just maybe a little less. So the goal is to get you to at least your prime, which would be 660 to 719, which still isn't good enough, but way better than being a subprime lender or a near prime lender, because at least you're a prime lender and we can save you around $300-400. It's that easy, because it's called PMI, private mortgage insurance, that you got no choice but to pay, that they add on to when they see you can't afford the house. They add on $300 to $500 plus more dollars. Do you hear how weird that sounds? When they see you cannot afford the house that you got, they add on another $300 to $500. I'll say it one more time. When they see you cannot afford the house, and all the data and advanced metrics stipulates the same, they then add on an additional $300 to $500, because the goal is to see to it that you go into default or you go bankrupt, that you can't afford your property. And so this is why they can lend people a mortgage for a $400,000, $500,000 property, but would never even give you a $10,000 loan for your business. In fact, it's easier to get a $500,000 loan or mortgage for your house than it is to get $10,000, $20,000 for your business. And that's by design, because with the business, you will be empowered to have more money to afford your house. But with the house, you may not be afforded the same opportunity to have a business, because now you're consumed with debt. It's by design for you to fail, so much so that the mortgage lender can write off your debt as a gift in their taxes, take the property back and resolicit it to another unsuspecting person who's failed to realize they can't afford the $400,000, $500,000 loan. They can't afford the interest on a $400,000 property where the interest is probably going to be in or around $300,000 by the time you pay it all off. An additional $300,000. You think you got a $400,000 property and you're really sitting on a $750,000 property. On top of it, you're paying private mortgage insurance because you're not in your prime. You're a subprime lender or a near prime lender, not a prime lender of 680 to 719, which still isn't good enough because you want to be 720 upwards. Then all the while you believe 719 is the score that you need, 750 is the score that you need, all it really means is that you can pay things on time, but it's not enough to get you a six-figure loan. Because most of you will never get approved of a six-figure loan because you don't even make six figures in the first place. Let's make sense. Why would I loan you $100,000 if you only make less than $50,000 a year? Why would I give you a $100,000 credit card? Why would I give you a $100,000 credit card if you only make less than $60,000 a year? Hope you guys are listening to what I'm saying. I hope you guys hear me. This is some real talk. This is real talk. Okay? And so, we talking about that heavy metal. This is Rolls Royce Diaries. We got to talk to you. Go to brotherpolight45@gmail.com so I can coach you properly to make sure you amass $1 million, because at the end of the day, all these 500 companies, the top 500 companies in the world, these 500 companies are laying off people by the thousands. If the 500 companies are laying people off by the thousands, what do you think the impact is for the people under 500 employees? What do you think life is going to be like? If the major companies are going into default, if the major companies are laying people off by the thousands, what do you think is happening to the mom and pop shops? What do you think is happening to the small businesses? What do you think is happening to you as an employee? You have to start making money and stop relying on them at this particular point in time. It's about to be a wrap for everybody. I'm not one to tell you the doomsday thing and the dollar's going to collapse. And I'm not going to skip to that. I'm telling you in real time right now, we're heading towards one of the worst recessions ever. You think we're just going to come out of a pandemic just like this? You know how long this pandemic took? And people still getting hit up right now. People still getting hit up right now. You know how long this pandemic has been? Many of you didn't realize we was already entering a recession before the pandemic. That's how crazy it is. Okay? Many of you don't realize that. But what you got to understand is that by next year's time, we're damn near be in a depression. Because it starts off with, all you got to do is look at the trickle down effect. When the big businesses are failing, the small businesses have to fail right after. It's just common sense. That's why I created the credit restoration program. Okay? With the credit restoration program, you have what? We remove negative items off your report, add positive items to your report, boost your credit scores, then leverage the results so that you're approved for anywhere between 50 grand to 300 grand that you do not have to pay back. And I taught you about many of these opportunities when people thought I was BSing about monies that you don't have to pay back. And I said, all we want is 10% of the money. For $2,000, we charge you $2,000. Our mail in itself costs anywhere between $640 to $680 because we're mailing data out to 30 different credit bureaus and financial institutions, and we'll talk about that after. Okay? Let's get to it. So, but people don't understand when I say credit restoration, they just think it's about those numbers. 650 scores, 700 scores, 720. And first of all, that makes no sense. When people are like, yo, my credit score is 750. I'm like, credit score, singular? Which credit score are you talking about? Because you got TransUnion, Span, Equifax. One deals with vehicles to priority. One deals with bills and utilities in general. The other one deals with like installments, such as houses, boats. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, we don't even know which one specializes in what. Then you got FICO, and then on top of it, you got 20 plus other ones that no one tells you about. 20 plus other credit bureaus. People don't even know that your banks have their own credit score. And then you have check systems corresponding and soliciting data with unbeknown to you that works to your disadvantage, because they're treating your bank account like a credit card, whereby the way you're not supposed to owe more than 36.6% of the total amount of credit available to you. If you have a credit card, if you have $1,000 limit, you shouldn't owe more than $366.66 per each $1,000 by the time that recording date comes in. Likewise, with your bank account, you are supposed to always have over 70% of the monies that you put into your account on a month-to-month basis. They don't tell you this. And if you don't have more than 70% of the money that you put into your bank account, so if I put $1,000, for every $1,000 I put into my bank account, I need to have over $700 left in there by the end of the month. Most people don't know that they use your banking data against you. But you can tell them, please stop doing that, so you can get that out the way, so it doesn't impact your credit rating or your consumer predictability, because that credit score has very little to do with how much money you can be approved of when it comes to getting six-figure loans or these heavy metal cards. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Rolls-Royce Diaries. You know, Rolls-Royce Diaries. It's only right that I talk inside of a house on wheels. Yeah, every time. I keep being in the same cars. You know, purple my favorite color. Sometimes I switch it out for my white. You heard? Rolls-Royce Diaries. Let's stick to it. You go to brotherpolight45@gmail.com. You leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready to purchase the $2,000 credit restoration, where we give you access to over 50 to 300,000 that you don't have to pay back, and credit cards that are unlimited, or you don't have to pay late fees, such as the smart card right here, X1, or the metal card right here, okay, the unlimited, or the black card right here, okay? So seeing is knowing. People show off cash, and I like showing off cash too. I got plenty cash. I got plenty cash. I got to re-up on some. But you know, I got plenty cash. I got plenty cash. I stay with it. I got plenty cash. You know, doesn't hurt. But the real flex, that's hip hop right there. The real flex is this heavy metal. Because between these three cards alone, I could blow a mill, but I ain't trying to blow it. So let me say it different. I teach credit card investing. So I could swipe my card and make tremendous investments over $50,000 at a time, over $100,000 at a time. And let me make this clear, because when I talk to people about credit card investments, this is why you got to understand why I'm Don P. Okay? And I'm the ghost. I'm the spook that sat behind the door. So I'm a wraith in many respects. Let's really talk. Credit card investing. People say, you're going to get those credit cards, but you have to pay it back. Okay, whatever. If you have an investment strategy or plan and don't have the money, but you have an investment plan that you know if you only got the money, you'll be able to make money back and therefore pay back whoever gave you the opportunity. And after you pay them back, all the extra money you make is now yours forever. This is the regular science of a loan. The way we look at credit cards is, let me use it for money that I don't have. And that's the problem. You want to use credit cards when you don't have the money in the first place. That is a recipe for failure. The goal is to get you credit cards to give you access to monies you never had available So you could swipe your credit cards for $50,000 at a time, $100,000 at a time, and then pay it back using the other credit cards. That's where the using the money you don't have comes in, by establishing what's called a balance transfer option, and your credit score will go up just for you using the balance transfer option to evade the 36.6%. But you have to have the right amount of credit cards and certain types of credit cards, like this one right here, this smart card, the X1, that doesn't have late fees. Imagine a credit card that doesn't have late fees. And someone's teach you how to credit card invest with the black card. Oh, but you got to first imagine that you can get a black card, which is very easy. But how do you get one? How do you get one? If your debt to income ratio is compromised, meaning how can you get a credit card with a value of over 100,000 if you make less than 50,000 a year, less than 60,000 a year? Oh, Brother Polight will get you a revolving line of credit for your personal or business that will go over $100,000. And once that's in your account, we can add that as a credit or a positive item on your credit report. That's going to open the floodgates for you now to get these different credit cards. So now that I got you over $100,000 in monies that you don't have to pay back, when it's clear you have money in your account that you don't have to pay back, you can leverage those results now, because you're in a new club where now you can be approved for unlimited cards and cards that have no late fees almost instantaneously, provided we keep you above your prime, which means your score has to be over 719. And then we have to remove the firewalls that exist on your credit that is not dictated by the score number that you see. Meaning the scores are nice, but they're not the end all. People are like, well, my credit score is already good. That means nothing in terms of getting you six figures, especially the type of six figures that you don't have to pay back. Again, you go to brotherpolight45@gmail.com. You leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready to make money that you don't have to pay back, over 100 grand to $300,000, and then get your credit card weight up to $500,000 upwards, $1 million plus. So between the combination of the money you don't have to pay back and the equity is found in your credit cards, and you're going to employ credit card investing and still have that bag right there sitting in your account for monies you don't have to pay back, the combination of the two will have you over $1 million when I'm done. And all you need is me as your mentor to give you business stratagems that you can employ to grow that amount of money into a large amount, so you don't have to look back. And you do all of this while we're on the cusp of one of the worst recessions ever. Because next year will be hell. Because again, if you don't believe me, just go online and type in layoffs at record numbers. Companies laying off 1,500 people, 5,000 people, 10,000 people. The top companies in the world are laying off people by the thousands. The trickle-down effect will be the small businesses and the people that work for these companies. And people will get desperate. It's $2,000 for the service. Do not call us. Leave your full name and your phone number. brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Do not call unless you are ready. Don't ask, how does it work, when I'm explaining everything here. It takes place inside of 60 to 90 business days, but we will work with you after that time, because it's part of my mentorship responsibilities. Once we know what you're approved of, then I'll consecrate some time so I can start coaching you. Please do not call and say how, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to tell you this. It costs $2,000 up front. It costs $2,000 up front. We send letters and affidavits to credit bureaus and financial institutions alike for the purposes of removing negative items off your report, adding positive items to your report, boosting your credit scores, then leveraging the results so that you're approved for anywhere between 50 grand to 300 grand that you don't have to pay back. You'll get a caseworker assigned to you that's going to deal with your credit exclusively and immediately. And you'll have me at your disposal as your mentor, whereby I'll be preparing you for the funds coming in so I can give you a wide range of ideas, how you may want to invest that money to grow it into a large amount. Very important, because you don't want to get access to $200,000-$300,000 that you don't have to pay back. Over $500,000 in equity through your credit cards to invest with no business plan or working model. You might just most likely F up the money. And then you'll also have a website whereby you could track your results, see the deleted items, okay, that we remove from your report, the positive items, most importantly, that we add to your report, and then you could check if your funding is available, processing, or has cleared. You'll also be able to see your credit scores, those numbers that people like looking at all the time. But I'm here to tell you that those credit scores are overrated. Yes, you do want a credit score over 750, but it only really suggests that you've been paying bills on time of recently or of old. It doesn't really loan you the credibility to get $200,000, $300,000, especially that you don't have to pay back. Your fancy credit score doesn't tell you much, because the credit scores that you're looking at is TransUnion and Equifax. You're not looking at the check systems. You're not looking at the LexisNexis. You're not looking at the credit scores that your bank has out for you. You don't know about the reporting that they're doing against you. This is the problem. So they got you looking in one direction where your mind should be other places. This is why adding positive items to your report is so important, because many of you are lacking credit history or credit opportunities that you can leverage where people can trust you based on the predictability of you, the consumer. So our responsibility is to add positive items to your report. If you're so much as paying rent, you can use what you pay rent as a positive item to add to your report. See, most of you pay rent or pay mortgage, and it's not included. But if you include your rent or your mortgage into your credit report, your score goes up and your rating goes up. Who would have thought that you can actually use your rent or your mortgage, or someone else's for that matter? But that's another conversation. Hint, hint, wink, wink. And any homeowner has the right to put on paper that they are renting out to you, under the presumption they are renting out to you. It's everybody's right to have documented rent that has been agreed upon by the homeowner and the rentee, the renter and the rentee. But I don't want to say too much. You say too much, you do too much, and they change the game, and it gets ridiculous. I hope you understand what I'm talking about. You could change your address and make sure you get a UPS address, because the interpretation of a UPS address is that of a house or an office, in which case this will boost your credit score up by 50 to 75 plus more points if you change your address, mailing address, to a neighborhood with a median income well over $150,000 a year, where wealth begins. Because they say a person has the ability to start amassing wealth if they have $150,000 or more left over after expenses per annual, per year. So you want to get a mailing address in the city hall area, or you want to get a mailing address in an area where the median income is over $150,000 a year. In contrast to your previous mailing address, let there be a difference where they can see, oh, you lived in a neighborhood where the median income was 60. Or you lived in an area where the median income was $45,000 a year. Or you lived in an area, by median, we mean average. You live in an area where the average income is at $80,000 a year. So now you got a mailing address, UPS, not USPS. It's not going to work with that. Now what you do, you have a new mailing address in an area where the average income is thousands of dollars more money than the likes of which you presently reside or used to reside. That's going to boost your credit score up. But never mind the score, your rating according to CDAs or consumer data aggregates, your reporting as it relates to LexisNexis, that's going to change the whole color of how people look at you, because they're going to be like, wow, this person's been there for 2 months or 3 months in an area that's over $100,000 more than what they used to get, and over $80,000 more than what they used to get, and they're still receiving mail there, or they're still residing there because the interpretation is you reside there. Now the floodgates will be open for you to be able to be approved for loans that transcend the amount of income you actually have. So here it is, we're reporting rent or mortgage. We're reporting or updating our mailing address, getting a city hall address, or getting a UPS mailing address and just have your mail forwarded to the old address. Get a new email, get a new phone number and attach it. When you get a new phone number, get a new email. When you get a new email, attach the new phone number. When you get a new mailing address, attach the new email address and a new phone number, because it goes in that order. New phone, then new email. New email requires phone number. New mailing address requires new email, new phone number. And what we're doing essentially is building you up and adding positive items. We might need to create a little corporation for you. We could create a little $15, $30 corporation for you. We might need to. So we can add that as a positive item to your report with a business model and working plan. And once that's uploaded into their system, now they see the vision of a person who lives in an area where the median income stipulates or suggests that people amass wealth on average in that neighborhood. You're not a risk. You're not in the red line area. Your new phone number, email, and mailing address is not attached to any of the negativity that was on your report previous. You reported your rent and your mortgage because you didn't know that was an advantage, no matter what it is. Or even more clever, you rent out to yourself. If you are the property owner, so to speak, you can still have yourself as the rentee, even if it's your house. Whatever the case may be. And these are positive items that you're leveraging. So when we get you approved for anywhere between $50,000 to $300,000 that you don't have to pay back, then we're going to report those into the CDAs, Consumer Data Aggregates, LexisNexis, check systems and all. Check systems going to see it anyway. They know what's in your account all the time. And then now when they see them 6 figures in your account, you can leverage that. And now we can start applying for those credit cards for the wealthy with less restrictions, because they put more restrictions on the poor. It costs too much to be poor. I always say this. You get more concessions are made to you. More concessions are made to you when you have more money. Things cost less when you have more money. You get free seats, better seats, healthier food, free service. Everything costs more when you're poor. It costs too much to be poor. That's why I always say I'm way too smart to be broke. All you have to do is amass wealth, and then you'll save money from there on. It works in reverse. It's like SAT math. Okay? You go to brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. You leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready to be coached into making millions. It's not difficult. You have to access the money first. So making the money is the action. Okay? Saving money is the behavior. Okay? And growing the money is the wisdom. Making the money is the action. Saving the money is the behavior. Investing the money, thereby growing it, is the wisdom. So we're talking about the action, the behavior, and the wisdom. The Trinity. We want to do these things. We need to do these things because life is getting harder. We're the subjects of food inflation. Less food costs more money. Used to cost less and we used to get more food. Now we get less food and the cost has gone up. Food inflation. The price of living is more high. The price of living is higher. People are getting laid off. They're coming and they're going to spin the block. And even if you have a job, the amount of pay you get contradicts the price of living. And then you can't afford to no longer be a subprime lender. By definition, have a 580 to a 619 credit score, or a near prime, which is a 620 to a 659, or be in your prime at 660 to 719. We have to go above and beyond that and not fall for the misnomer called a good credit score and think that's the end all, because your credit score could be 750, 780, 800, and you still won't get these metal cards. And you still won't get 6 figures that you don't have to pay back. Because those are the covert scoring systems of your bank, of LexisNexis, of check systems, of CDAs, consumer data aggregates. I'm giving you names and references so you can remember them. I gotta get ready to be done. It's Rolls-Royce Diaries. You know, the door open up this way. Our own built-in chauffeur. Push the button here. We don't close our own doors. We don't close our own doors. Rolls-Royce Diaries. Did you heard? We don't. We just simply refuse to close our own doors. Yeah. I'm in my white thing right now, my white toy. But, you know, seeing is knowing. I don't do this to just show off effortlessly. Come on now. You work with us, we make sure you can set up a trust, private interest holdings. By the time we're done with you, you're never going to have to look back. You're never going to have to work for no one a day in your life. Your children are going to be straight because we teach wealth stewardship in my program. Get your credit restoration program. Do not contact us until you're ready. It costs $2,000. $2,000. And we'll get to work for you. We'll help you grow your money. We'll help you get access to funds that you don't have to pay back, ranging from 50 grand to 300 grand. Anything that's out there, that's available. We just ask for 10% back on the back end. Don't contact us and say, "Po, can you just pay for everything for us?" And then I just give you I'll even give you 20, 30%. Don't do it because we did it for a lot of people, enough as it is. It's almost like we're in business to just do stuff for people for free. People have exhausted that opportunity. And even worse, people get their monies and they don't give us the 10% back. So that's weak. I almost stopped the program because people can't get enough money. They get their little 220 grand. That means we should get 22,000. You got 220. But it's still too much. It's still too much. That's what people do. Back here, we live. Everything's good. It's okay. I'm too smart to be broke. And say this to yourself. So again, you go to brotherpolight45@gmail.com. You leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready. Your full name and your phone number when you are ready to purchase the credit restoration program. You're going to get your mentor, because boxers have trainers. Basketball players have coaches. And when it comes to money, you just wing it. And that's why we're failing as a community, because there's no education involved. There's no consumer math. Remember in the previous stream that I did, where I pulled out a mortgage calculator to break down the science of the devil? You see what I'm saying? How come we never went to school and someone pulled out a mortgage calculator? They pulled out the scientific calculator, but how many of us went out here to be a scientist? Most of us are more likely to go into housing debt or student loan debt in pursuit of getting a house. So where the freak was the mortgage calculator? See what I'm saying? And like I told you, the legal aid is going to get paid thousands of dollars if you do an early plea. He gets paid more money to get you to plead guilty than to say you're innocent. What does he get if he proves that you're innocent? Good job. What does he get if he gets you to say you're guilty? Over $1,000. What does the doctor get for an unnatural birth to cut this woman's belly open? Over $25,000. What do they get for a natural birth? Good job. Congratulations. You brought another child in this world. Now let these people be behind in their bills. You're going to see a whole bunch of guilty pleas and a whole bunch of unnatural births. This is how it works. This is how it works. Okay? Go to brotherpolight45@gmail.com. You leave your full name and your phone number. I have it pinned to the top. Brother POLIGHT45@gmail.com. Leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready to spend your $2,000 to amass wealth to change your life. Don't play games. That's why I delivered all my children in the household. But I got ready to go. I got to take my daughters in them jet skiing, actually. Just wanted to catch a little quick build. Rolls Royce Diaries before I get on this road. Blessings and abundance to you all. I love and appreciate you. I'm too smart to be broke, and it costs too smart to be broke, and it costs too much to be poor. I'm too smart to be broke, and it costs way too much to be poor. Blessings and abundance. So we say, Aswud Gador, Black Power. Aswud Gador, Black Power. Hotep wa Barakat, peace and blessings. And last but certainly not least, in our language, the living language, in Duasusu, we say, why it won't stay here? Let's do it again. Black Power, Aswud Gador, Black Power, Hotep wa Barakat, peace and blessings. And last but certainly not least, before this phone falls again, perpetual success, which is Iluvu. We always greet each other on success, Tadut, and we always see each other out with that intention. We want to give you perpetual success. Because I realize around the world where people say Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam, where people say shalom, ma salam, however they choose to say it, they implore that you have peace or peace be with you, and they seem to be doing better as a unit. There's more cohesiveness in other communities. So, looking at other communities, I say the way that we impress each other from the time we see each other and the way we separate from each other. We got to learn how to make our interactions powerful, and even more importantly, our separation even more powerful. So when I see my people, my students, we say Tadu, which means success. The second I see you, success, brother, success. It means high as well. Because that's the spirit force we want to invoke. Success. And then when we leave each other, we wish each other. We implore, I should say, not wish. We implore. Our intention is for you to have perpetual success straight into the time I see you again. Perpetual success. Ilufu. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Blessings and abundance. Talk to me nice. brotherpolight45@gmail.com. Leave your full name and your phone number when you're ready. Leave your full name and your phone number, and let's get to it.